Greetings, and I salute you for watching another episode of Patrik's Tech Lightning. And today we are going to do a comparison between Azure and AWS. And for this, we have help all the way from Canada, a special guest brain. He's called Borko, or as we would call him in Swedish, Borko. You can find his Twitter handle in the description of this video. So I think it's about time that we get started. But before we jump into it, I want to say that everything that we mention here are personal opinions, what we feel is better or different between Azure and AWS. So let's get into it. Here we go. Since we're going to compare Azure versus AWS, we should start with the most obvious, Azure Active Directory. Integration is playing a huge part for the rapid growth we have seen within Azure. So the first bullet is Azure Active Directory and integration with Microsoft 365. Resource groups, they are a primary construct you will be working with in Azure to logically organize your resources. I find that this makes things a lot better and easier to manage compared to AWS. It also considerably helps with access control. Azure Access Control RBAC is just better. In general, most services have built-in roles that are similar to owner, contributor, or reader. This combined with resource groups makes controlling access way easier compared to AWS. Unless you have really complicated or highly regulated environment, you'll be able to implement a pretty secure environment with just resource groups and the built-in roles. The roles also have a better naming than AWS policies and roles. I feel that the IAM policy and access management is more complicated in AWS. Azure Durable Functions. They serve a similar role as step functions in AWS as they orchestrate workflows, but they are more consistent with the way you write normal functions. Imagine if you implemented step functions as basically another Lambda function instead of using different syntax. Azure Functions, they have their own hosting plans, so you can share this with other services such as the app service. This means that if you're already using app services and you have available capacity, you can host Azure Functions there for free. Azure SQL Server is essentially Amazon Relational Database Service, RDS, but with SQL Server functionality. It has some extra features not available with RDS, for example, integration to Azure AD and more extensive backup options. Azure PostgreSQL Hyperscale have some advanced features like sharding and scaling over multiple instances and parallel queries. This isn't available in RDS. There is also Azure Kubernetes Services, AKS, which is similar to AWS Elastic Kubernetes Services, EKS. Azure Service Fabrics is comparable to ECS Fargate in AWS. Blob Storage is pretty similar to S3. Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2 adds hierarchical namespace to blob storage. Managing triggers and destination in functions is cleaner in Azure as they are right there specified in your function code. Azure offers a good integration with GitHub and Visual Studio Code. The Azure portal, I feel, is easier to navigate compared to AWS. AWS is very region dependent, making it more difficult to see all your resources across region. Except, of course, when you're looking at the bill. Azure offered IPv6 support from the beginning when they started implementing their networking infrastructure. Many services now have IPv6 supported out of the box because of this. Azure Monitor is your AWS CloudWatch equivalent. Both of these tools provide an incredible depth of feature for its platform. Many of the remaining services are very similar, but they also differ when you get down to the specifics. The devil is in the detail, as they say. As stated, these were all personal opinions, what we feel are the differences between Azure and AWS. If you disagree, which is definitely you're right, you can either make an awesome video explaining why it's not like that, why it's not stated as I've said it has been, or you can even go to the comments field and write some very angry comment. We all love reading them. So until next time, stay tuned to this channel. Thank you. See ya.